I think that it's the beginning of a big time of integration and collaboration in the Balkans, and it's somehow very obvious that the time has come, and maybe some of the international agents and some of local also agents in the Balkans are a bit off guard, because it seemed that the time of cooperation that we wished so much came suddenly. Of course, it wasn't suddenly, it was after the long effort, in different fields. Governmental, international, civil society, and so on. So this is the consequence of a long and hard work that has been invested so far, Now, the young generation, that is post-war generation, now they are 18, 20, 25, 30, they are people in their full strength, and they don't have the luggage of the war, they don't have this burden of the war. They want to meet each other. They want they are curious about each other. They also understand that it's natural to collaborate in business, in culture, in education, in environment, all these hot topics for everybody, but especially for the young people, because it's their future at stake. So I think that they turn more towards a pragmatic approach and also towards certain creativity, that makes them really curious one about another, rather than to be stuck with the history or with the political ideas that are obviously past, that are obviously stale. They don't respond to the new time and the new age. We most recently had a very big collaborative project between Serbia and Bosnia on the NGO levels, but in culture, where the young artists from Serbia and the young artists from Bosnia played together in the show called What Would You Give Your Life For? So it's something very serious. They never met before. They never visited their respective countries before, and they suddenly discovered each other, and they felt as they discovered the twin brother that they didn't know he existed before. So this explosion of recognizing each other, really resulted in an exceptional theatrical play. I think that the governments are a bit behind the reality. The donors also are a bit behind, because I think that we have to recognize what's going on, and this what is going on is very different from what went on in the last 20 plus years. So I think that the governments still operate on the basis of the old narratives. Even EU and United States and some other international partners or interested parties, also they somehow operate on the old narrative. We are still in these circles talking about reconciliation and so on, but I think that we are a step beyond reconciliation. I think that the basic element in life, in business, in culture, in sports, reconciliation has been done. Maybe some politics didn't reconcile, but people are either they reconciled already or they are completely open to reconcile. There is no proper information of all the good projects, initiatives and practices going on in the Balkans. It's not opportune for the media to talk about that, because if there is no conflict, then what we are going to talk about? it's not opportunistic for the politicians to talk about that, because again, you know, if everything is getting all right, then what we are going to do? You know, those politicians who don't see politics as a constructive force to bring people together and to make life better. We have to read time better. You know, the time is the age now in the Balkans is more interesting and more and it has a better potential than what it seems, you know, in the offices or the bureaucratic structures or policymakers. The paradigm has been already shifted by life itself. So if you want to belong to the core processes, whether we are civil society, whether we are government, whether we are international organization or EU or media, or you know, we have to be there. We have to be in the center of the change and not living in illusion that it's up to us to decide about this change. The change is already happening, you know. We have to tune in with the globalization that on the micro level, and I say Balkans as the micro level, works better and better every day. People get connected more and more in many ways, privately, in business, in culture, in civil society, and they are somehow, my feeling is that especially younger generation, they are sick and tired of being stuck by the politics, by the nationalistic narratives, by these patriotic big statements that when they get translated, you know, in real life, then you are without job, you know, you are on the margins of the society, you cannot satisfy your basic needs, you cannot be creative, and you listen all these old songs. And I think, you know, that it's clear everywhere that this doesn't function anymore.